fellow word lovers, heavy metal bookworm here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about Factotum by Charles Bukowski, arguably one of the sleaziest men to ever put pen to paper. And I say that as a man who is currently recording video with very greasy hair. Hypocrisy. Anyway, Charles Bukowski is a writer, I feel, who kind of thinks with his dick and his liver before he thinks with his head and his heart. And before you say anything, that's not meant as an insult. Bukowski is actually one of my literary heroes, to such an extent that I have his entire epitaph tattooed on my arm. I say entire epitaph like it's somehow long, but anyway, that's beside the point. So when I say these things, I don't mean them as an insult. I actually think his alcoholism and mild misogyny are what fuels his writing, and this is just another example of that. Factotum, it was published in 1978, and this doesn't feel right. Something missing. One sec. If you're going to review Bukowski, you may as well get it right. There you go, Carlsberg. Free advertising. Give me money. Liver psoriasis. And we're back. So Factotum, Charles Bukowski's second novel after Post Office. This was published in 1978. Factotum means, I looked this up recently. When I say recently, I mean literally about 45 seconds before I hit record. It literally just means someone who works as a handyman. And that's basically what it is. It chronicles Charles Bukowski's literary alter ego, Henry Chinaski, as he moves from job to job to job, from woman to woman to woman. It sort of outlines his experiences with living at the bottom rung of society. Something I think we can all relate to, really. We all know the sting of having to move from one job to another, having to move house, having to change, well, any relationships, starting new ones. It's all about sort of a rough upbringing, maybe. So although this might be a bit more put through in a sort of a slightly more depressing, sleazy kind of context, I think most people who read it will be able to relate to it. We've kind of all experienced these things ourselves. What I actually really like about this book, and actually a lot of Bukowski's books, because this is only his second novel, so he's been doing poetry for years and years and years, and this is his second venture into actually writing a full book, and it's extremely autobiographical. It does come across as, you know, as though Bukowski's talking about his own experiences, which is basically what it is, and that's what makes it so interesting. It's not coming at it from a satirical standpoint. He's not trying to satirise society. He's not trying to cut deep into sort of the meaning of it or any philosophical context. He's not trying to say anything beyond what is actually written on the page itself, and that's why I like this book and the other books and Bukowski in general, because I said it earlier that he speaks from the liver and the dick before he speaks from the heart and the head, and that's not technically true. Yes, it does fuel his writing, but you can tell when you read it, when you read any of his stories, that he is speaking from the heart, because that's the only place he can speak from. He doesn't try to present the story in anything other than its literal context. God almighty, I've only had one sip of beer. That reminds me. Breakfast. So Chinaski's not trying to say anything clever. He's not trying to dissect anything. It's just basically, these are my experiences. This is my life. This is the only life I do know. So summarising, I mean, it's difficult to summarise a book like this because there's not really, in my experience, a lot to analyse about it. Not that I'm trying to analyse it. The book itself, I think, is an extremely enjoyable read. The one good thing about, I say the one good thing, there's lots of good things, but one of the main things I really like about Bukowski, one of the reasons why he's such an inspiration for me, is because of how easy he actually makes writing look. He doesn't attack the page with any kind of sense of, oh, I'm going to be very clever today, I'm going to poke fun at this, I'm going to pick this part of society and put it in my story in some weird context, and hopefully scholars many years down the line will go, ooh, this man was very, very clever, even if he was a little drunk. That's how academics talk, by the way. I have seen it in stories. So he makes writing look so unbelievably easy. It just comes naturally to him, and for that reason, when you read it, you're not really sort of like you don't have to try and look for any sort of hidden context or hidden meaning. It's just there on the page, and it's a refreshing change to, although, I mean, my last review was Philip Roth, and I absolutely adore Philip Roth. And I love the fact that you can pick apart things in society and sort of present it to it in a narrative, and that's great and that's good. It's nice to analyse things, but this is a bit of a break from that. Not saying it's dumbed down, it's not dumbed down at all. It's extremely raw and it's extremely honest, and that's what makes it an interesting read. And that's all there is really to say about it. Bukowski is well, he was a household name in poetry. He was a poet laureate. When was that? I've got a phone right there, I could look it up. I'm not going to. Yeah, look at it for yourself. Arguably, I would say Factotum is one of his best novels, alongside his first Post Office. He only wrote 5 or 6, I believe, but this is one of his best ones, largely because, similar to 1971, well, his previous work, Post Office, which again chronicles the life of Henry Chinaski as he works in the postal office. It's extremely relatable, it's extremely raw, and there are no holds barred in terms of its narrative, in terms of its prose. So I'm going to give this one my own personal cheers. Stay metal, my friends.